Right now, time to bring in Ruth Epstein from the Republican American, the Republican American Report. Ruth, of course, covers our area for the Republican American. Good morning, Ruth.
Hey, Marshall. How are you this morning?
Well, fine. I mean, the power went off at my house twice last night, and it came right back on. But I have all these smart lights in my house, and they're all hooked so I can control them with my iPhone and stuff like that. And when it's dark and they're all off, if there's a power outage, even for a split second, when they all come on. So like twice last night, once at like 1:30 and once at like 3. Instant light, the dogs, the cat, me, we all have to get.
Well, they're pretty smart, I guess, huh?
Well, I just kind of wish they had a bypass for that section. But anyway.
But you're here. Oh, yes. Okay. Well, we had a busy week, and it's even getting busier as we speak, which is odd because usually the last 2 weeks of the month aren't quite as busy.
Yeah.
But I do believe there is a meeting tonight on the library expansion in Sharon.
Yep.
The Zoning Board of Appeals?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I have to check that out. They are looking into expanding that historic building right across the road from you. That's first on the list. And as right down the road from you is the new French restaurant, which we went to the other day and chatted with the new owners. And it was busy. People are in and out, and glad to see it there. Lots of activity, and the menu is going to be expanded, I understand, soon. So between that and the new gas station in Falls Village, and I talked to some guys who are opening the Three Guys Ski and Fun in Cornwall. We're seeing some new businesses popping up in the area, which is kind of nice.
And the nice thing about Sharon is not only did they fill a place in the shopping center, but what used to be the garden center up the road, the little brick buildings.
Right,
they bought that, and that's going to be their residence. So.
Yep, and they're hopefully going to be growing vegetables and things to supply other restaurants in the area. So, it's been a tough year. A lot of businesses are suffering, and it's good to see some new ones popping up. As we have said, budget season is upon us. We have done the Salisbury budgets. We're on to some of the other towns, and we'll be covering, of course, the Region 1 budget, which is going up at this point only about 2%. They were able to get it down from a high of over 4% and still working on it. So that's always of interest to people in the area. But the other interesting part of that, as we talked about last week, is the enrollment, which is going down pretty dramatically. As you said, it was much more bustling when you were there back in the 70s.
Gosh, we had I think in our graduating class we had 170 to 180 people.
Mm-hmm.
I think throughout the whole high school it was always between 600 and 800, and
right.
now it's right around 300.
300 for next year, which is really incredible. Yeah. We also had the Salisbury Planning and Zoning hearing on the Holly Place, the number 1 session. As you know, that has been a very contentious issue. That was a 3.5-hour meeting this past week. They gave everybody pretty much a chance to speak, and people will still have more chance to discuss. It's a 12-unit affordable housing complex right there in Lakeville, and strong support from many and strong opposition from many, and there are lots of lawyers in place. So that's going to go on. The next session is March 22nd at 5:30, and I wouldn't be surprised if number 3 comes along as well. So that's a meeting to be an issue we'll be following, obviously. Also in Sharon, just as your social services director, Miriam Jones, is leaving. She was her resignation was made official at the selectmen's meeting the other night, and people are very sorry to see her go. But she's moving on, and there is a vacancy, so people are interested. They should contact the selectman if anybody's interested in that position. So in addition to Sharon meeting tonight, we've got Cornwall Selectmen tomorrow night, and there's going to be an Canaan Board of Finance on Wednesday night. Another budget to discuss, and on Thursday night it's going to be a very interesting talk at Scoville by Mr. Lafayette, who is a civil rights activist, one of the last to have served with Martin Luther King, and that should be really an interesting talk. So, and
Friday night there's a Zoom event with Sharon Audubon about the history of maple sugaring, and that is a Zoom event. By the way, next week the event for the maple sugaring is sold out already.
Wow!
And that's not even like it used to be. You can still purchase maple syrup, but the Zoom event is sold out for that one already. But this Friday night, that one still has openings. Sharon.audubon.org. Yeah.
It's been wonderful. It really, these Zoom programs have been absolutely fantastic. We had the second part of the Bird one from the Cornwall Library in Audubon this past week, and people are coming on in droves to listen to these very informative talks. And I can't tout enough the work the libraries have done during this shutdown. You know, they're not open, a lot of them, but boy, they have gotten some terrific programs going, and really, we're very fortunate.
You know, following school budgets in the Republican American, people in this area should be very happy. I'm looking at school budgets in other regions where they're asking for extra $4.8 million and extra $2.9 million to go towards COVID.
Yeah.
And Housatonic Valley Regional High School and Region 1 got that one grant, and so far they've just done an outstanding job in managing a tough situation.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, in Salisbury, Stephanie Major, the principal there, has put in originally, we'll see if it's still in on the second go-round, $120,000 just because earmarked for COVID expenses if needed. There's just so much uncertainty.
Yeah.
Last year they just got hit really hard unexpectedly, and so I would imagine some of the other schools are going to be talking about, certainly Salisbury talked about how to handle budgets in a pandemic world. So it's very hard to plan.
It's not an easy job.
Not an easy job at all. And you're right. Region 1, I think, has really stood up to the mark to work on this.
Done a great job and keeping people informed.
My goodness, yeah. We certainly know whenever there are cases involved. So, so I am sure there's plenty more that will come up this coming week.
All right. Well, I want you to be safe out there, Ruth.
Oh, and you too, Marshall, and don't let the wind blow you too far away now that you've lost all that weight.
Yeah, I still got plenty of girth to go. Okay. All right, Ruth.
Take care. Have a good week.
Ruth Epstein from the Republican American with the Republican American Report here on Robin Hood Radio. You find it on the web, robinhoodradio.com. Click on demand. Click on Republican American Report with Ruth Epstein. It is 8:30 on the Breakfast Club on Robin Hood Radio.